Stay with me. Let me show you how to make this in Figma. So the first thing I'm going to do is to, draw a frame, okay, this way, and then I'm going to add some text in it. So let me just write, courses this way, and then I'm going to duplicate it to represent a list of items, okay? So I'm going to duplicate it this way to represent a list of items. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to select all the text together. All right, then go to frame selection this way. All right, so to select it this way. So the next thing I'm going to do again is that we want a list, okay, so that when we scroll, it's going to scroll down to the other items that are on here. So I'm just going to change the color of 4 of this to show that the scrolling is going to be possible. All right, or for us to see it very well. So I'm going to change the color to that. Then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to move the frame up, okay, so that when we scroll we can get to the other one. So the next thing here is to draw a bar which is going to be used for the scrolling on this, okay? So I'm going to draw it this way, and I'm going to change that color to black. All right, and then I'm just going to duplicate this again and make it smaller than the first one, and then put it inside here. So for that, I'm going to change the color and make it white. So this is what we are going to use for the scrolling. Okay, so I will duplicate this way. All right, then I'm going to select everything in this frame, okay? So I'm going to select everything, every text in the frame this way, okay? All the text will be selected this way, and then I'm going to scroll it up, okay, this way. So it comes this way. All right, then the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to bring this one down, okay, this way. All right, so something like this, okay? So I'm going to select these 2 frames and then go to my right panel and create a component set this way. So the next thing is to go to prototype, and I'm going to drag this to this other one here. Okay, so on the trigger, I'm going to leave it on drag, okay? I'm going to leave it on smart animate, ease in and out, and then 300 ms. Then for this also, I'm going to drag it to the first one, and then also leave it on drag, smart animate, ease in and out, 300 ms. All right, so this is it. Okay, so let's test our prototype and see. So I'm going to use a phone frame. All right, something like this. So I'm going to go to assets and pick this component that I've made here. That's component 9, and then I'm going to put it on this. Okay, so we have to change the background so we see everything clearly. So basically I'm going to change the background to black, something this way. Okay, and I'm just going to go to the right panel and then preview, and then we see how the whole thing is going to look like here. Okay, all right, so let's try that again. Preview. Okay, all right, so you see when I drag it down this way, it drags down this way, okay? And then when I drag it to the top, it goes down this way. Yeah, so basically that is how we can make scrollable text, etc. in Figma.